video. My name is Granger, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the beautiful town of Dorchester, Ontario, Canada. And I'm excited to be with you tonight. So today is Wednesday, July 1st, 2026. So if you're watching live, hello, hello. And if you're watching on the replay, shout out to those replay warriors. I know it's a busy time of year. If you're here in Canada, happy Canada Day. I hope you had a great day. We had a low-key day. My youngest daughter, we were just busy doing some family stuff. And yeah, so the day went by quick, and then my friend was over. We were crafting. Honestly, it was a great way to spend the day. And here in southwestern right now, Ontario, it is hot. With the humidity, it feels like 45 degrees. I don't even know what that is for my American friends, but it's probably well over 100. Just put it this way, I wear glasses, and when I go outside to take my puppy to the bathroom, I fog up. That's how humid it is outside. So yeah, I am just typing a note here. Give me a minute. So if you're here, say hi. Hello, Donna. How are you? Yeah, it's been a busy day. I hope you've, oops, I spelled community wrong. I hope you had a great day. So to all my American friends, I know you will be celebrating on the weekend, and I hope you have a fabulous weekend. So as I said, it's been hot and humid here. It's been like this since the weekend. Hello, Virginia. So I have been staying in my craft room. I am a person who does not, I like heat. No, I don't even like that. I like it when it's about 20 degrees, nice and cool. You can open the windows, breezy. But I'm not liking this hot and humid weather. It is like just way too hot. So for me, it's a great way to stay in my craft room. My youngest daughter left today. She's gone over to start her new job in the States, and so it was a little bittersweet this morning, and I just kept myself busy, and how I do that is spending time in my craft room. So I was very grateful that my friend came to craft with me this afternoon to help fight those tears away. So today I am sharing with you, we're going to explore the lily, it's actually called the Valley in Bloom Suite, which is the lily of the valley. And then I have some samples to share with you, and then we're going to make a quick and easy card tonight. I kept it easy because I don't know about you, but when I come into my craft room, I really like it to be quick and easy. And sometimes you really want to spend time in your craft room and play, and sometimes you're just like, I need to make some quick cards, and that's how it's going to go. So I have been really enjoying just coming into my craft room and creating. So this week we are showcasing the Lily of the Valley bundle. So this is the stamp set, and this is the dies. It is, I'm gonna have to admit to you here, when I first saw this catalog, so as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, we get to see the catalog about 6 weeks before it launches to customers. And when I saw this in the catalog, I was like, okay, that's super cute. But I'm like, do I really need another flower set? I like flowers, and I love my gardens. I love to garden, but my garden and my back don't like each other. So I love flowers. I think they're so pretty. And I was like, oh, that's a really cute set. But the more I saw samples done with it, the more I was like, okay, I really need to get this. So I am so glad I did. I sat down. So as I said, my daughter was leaving today. The weekend was spent packing. If you would have saw my craft room, so I have a desk in my craft room, and it's right off the front door. There was not a room on my desk. I literally had like a little spot to create my cards with. I didn't think I was going to get it done, but I was like, I'm coming in here, I'm going to do it, and I'm so happy that I was able to create with this set. And I'm excited to share with you the cards that I created tonight. So, Lily of the Valley stamp set. You have 6 greetings. So grateful for you to one of the nicest people I know. Happy for you to a forever kind of friend. Happy birthday and a little thanks. So it's a really great set. You have your Lily of the Valleys, and then you have like a solid leaf, and you have a stamped leaf. I'm going to show you this in a little bit more depth. And then it comes with the dies. So you have, and I'm going to show you this in a little bit more too. So you have your dies that coordinate. So obviously you can see you could stamp this image here and then cut it out. You could stamp this image and then cut it out. And then also this image has a die right here. So there's lots of ways you could do this. So yeah, so we are going to dive in and I'm going to show you this, but I have some things to share with you first before we do that. So first of all, let me show you where you can find this in the catalog. So this is our current May to August catalog. If you're new to Stampin' Up, welcome. You're going to love this community. It's amazing. And if you've been around for a long time, you know that Stampin' Up has changed the way they're doing their catalogs. So our catalogs are now 3 times a year and they're 4 months long, which is hard to believe. We're already 2 months into this catalog. And you will find the Valley of Bloom suite on page 22. I will let you know. So here's the suite. So it kind of shows you what's involved, what's included, some samples, and then it shows you the coordinating colors, which I love. The floral spray embossing folder is currently not available. It was a popular one and it sold out really quick. I didn't even get a chance to get it. Like that's how quick it sold out. You've got the dies, you've got the paper, you've got this beautiful like iridescent paper. And then you have these shimmery dots. These shimmery dots are also not available and I did not get some. I actually ordered some for customers, but I didn't get any myself. So when I designed my cards tonight, I really wish I had those, but I chose to go a different way. So you'll find that on page 22 and 23. That is the suite collection. But then it says right here, if you wanted to see just the Valley Dot bundle, which I'm going to show you tonight, you could turn to page 37 and it's right here. And then you'll see some more samples done with that. So when I sat down to create, I always like to pick a stamp set or a bundle and I always pair it with designer series paper. So I chose the Valley and Bloom 12 by 12 paper because it actually coordinates with the suite. Beautiful patterns. I'm loving these like gingham. I love this pattern, this and this. I'm not a big yellow fan, but this darling duckling patterns are really cute. So the colors are basic beige, blackberry bliss, coastal cabana, darling duckling, garden green, granny apple green, lemon lime twist, and pretty peacock. So really, really nice colors. And I'll show you some different ways of using that. So when I sat down, I was like, how can I show this in a little bit more and add a little bit more value into what I do with how I do my videos with you? So I think it's sometimes we are very like visual people. Sometimes like I have to admit I'm a terrible student when I go to other people's classes because I don't really follow directions. I just do look at the pictures and go. But there is people that are very visual and need that step by step. So I thought I would lay out what the dies and stamp sets looked like for you. So you can see here the greetings. There's that one coral image and there's the other one. And then here's the solid leaf and then the double leaves. Now, so you could stamp this and then cut it out with this die. This stamp, you can stamp and it cuts out with this die, or you could use it that way, or you could use it the way I did it. So just like cutting it out and adding. This die, I was like, what is this? Like, why is this here? And I realized that this image, so if you were to stamp in color, then you could cut it out with this. Then they gave you an extra coral bell. So I want to call them coral bells, Lily of the Valley. And then I just showed you how you could do it white. I used stamping blends to color it. And I love this hashtag here. I'm going to call it like hashtag, not a hashtag, but maybe, I don't even know. I gotta call it like, looks like fence. Like it looks like lattice. That's what I want. Lattice that you would see maybe on a fence and then the valley could climb up of it. And it was interesting. My friend belongs to a horticulture group, and she was telling me that lily of the valley is an invasive plant here in Ontario, which I had no idea. Anyways, I'm glad I'm using it in my stamp room because I really, really like it. So I would love to know if you find this helpful to see the dies out in the stamp sets. Let me know if you're watching or are on the replay. Let's just check some comments. Donna said, I'm still tired since I got home from Vancouver Tuesday night. It wasn't hot there. Oh, you're on a time change too there, Donna. So that's not even, that doesn't help even more. But there is, it wasn't hot there. Let's just go back there so where it's not hot, which would be super nice. Okay, before I dive into our projects, I do want to point out a few things. So today is July 1st, which is the start of the month. Our new July product of the month. So if you're not sure what that means, you're probably like, what is that, Anne? What Stampin' Up! Has done, each month they release a special product and they call it the product of the month. It releases at the beginning of the month and it's while supplies last. So far, this program started back in December, so we're like 6 months in and no product has sold out. But last month's stamp set, which was called the Wild Bunch, did. So this is called Begonia Bella and it's a really nice, it's a 2-step stamp. If you love flowers, you're gonna love this one. So here in Canada, if you place a $100 order before shipping and taxing and all that, you could add this to your cart. It's beautiful. I've seen some samples, so it's really, really nice. So if you're interested in that, you can go online and view that. Also wanted to tell you that starting today, our July online exclusives was released. So what do I mean by that? And I just want to share these with you because sometimes we're not like always, sometimes we just see catalogs, we don't see other things. So Stampin' Up! Can't put everything in a catalog because that would be a very big catalog. So what they do is they bring in product that is called online exclusives. And they do releases every other month. So this is our new release. So this release just came out today. I'm going to put this PDF up on my blog in the next couple days so you can download it. And if you're on my newsletter, I'm going to send out a newsletter. I just needed to give me a couple days to get caught up. But they have a beautiful Halloween suite. There's a Christmas suite. There's all kinds of, so this is kind of like fall, Halloween, and a little bit of Christmas. So if you're interested in that, oh, and some beautiful flowers. So this is called Violet Dreams, and this is the Christmas stitched stocking. Christmas, what is it called? Christmas, let's see here, what is it called? A stitched season, which this set, my mother-in-law was a huge quilter, so this reminds me of my mother-in-law, so I definitely had to get that. All right, so let's share some samples with you, and then let's dive in. We're gonna make a quick and easy card tonight. So my first sample was a case from Megan Love. She is a demonstrator in the US. I saw the sketch and I really, really liked it. So I just kind of like tweaked it and added to make my own. I added in, I think she had one, I added two. I stamped the Lily of the Valley in Memento ink. My black hybrid ink is en route. It should be here tomorrow or Friday. So if you still have Memento ink, you can use that. And the really neat thing about showing you these samples is you don't have to have the same product that I do. When I'm sitting and watching TV and I'm scrolling Pinterest or social media and I see a card that I like, I save it in my camera roll. And then when I sit down, I go back and use that as a sketch layout. This is a great sketch layout and one that you could use for Christmas. You could use it for birthdays. There's lots you can do with it. So as I told you, I did not have those embellishments. So I brought in my rhinestones. How many of us has rhinestones? I can't tell you the last time I used rhinestones, so this makes my heart happy to use those. So there is one. So shout out to Megan for the inspiration. This was another card I saw on social media, and I believe it's from a demonstrator in Australia, and it was beautiful. Now she had like a greeting here. I chose to leave mine blank because I thought it would be could be a thank you card or like maybe a sympathy card, or you could use this for anything. Once again, there's that gingham, really, really like it. I brought in the Spotlight on Nature dies, and if you follow me, you know that I'm a huge fan of anything stitched. So here are those Spotlight on Nature dies. They're 12. You will find these in our online store under our dies. I love them. There's 12. They layer nice, and you could really get that like that look, or you can get like a stitch look. So those are really, really nice. So there's my second card. Sorry. This card was up on my blog. I will be doing a blog post tomorrow. My goal is to try to do four days a week. So I'm thinking like Monday, Wednesday, maybe Friday, and then one time on the weekend. So this here actually was a sheet of DSP where This image was more, so the top was more like white and blue, like a sky, and then this image was more at the bottom. So I just cut it up, layered it with Blackberry Bliss and Granny Apple Green. Those colors are in that color DSP pack, so that's why I picked it. And then I used the Stylish Shape dies, so they're right here, and I used this one. So what I did was I ran this through my Stampin' Cut and Boss, and I got a white one. And then I ran it through again with the Blackberry Bliss. And what I did was I just cut it in half, and the Blackberry Bliss in half, and then I was able to like layer it on either side. So that was just a neat tip if you wanted to like add a layer behind it, but maybe we don't have that die. So you can use your dies and cut them in half and then extend them. I brought in those rhinestones and I added a little bit of linen thread. So really nice. You could change this up. Like this would be a very beautiful, like obviously if you maybe didn't do this layer, but a beautiful sympathy card or a get well card. So really look at that. And the neat thing about like when you're watching videos or like, you know, look at them great ways to use your designer series paper. I don't know about you, but we all have paper that we just don't want to cut into because they're so beautiful. This one was a case, no, this one was a sketch layout that I saw from Julie Davison. When I was scrolling through, she had made a completely different card. I was like, oh, I really like that sketch. So I used this the sketch layout to create this card. Brought in that basic beige gingham. Pretty Peacock is one of those colors. This paper also was one of those papers that was more of like a lot of blue, like sky, but then your colors are at the bottom. Brought in the basic beige and then brought in the Pretty Peacock. I think this layout would make a great birthday card or even a Christmas layout. How fun would that be? Like Christmas paper. I'm gonna have to try that. And this die comes from the the Nestled Essential, which is one of those dies that stitched I absolutely love. So that's another one. So those are kind of like my go-to 3 top dies that I do use. So just so you know. And then I have one more card to share with you. This one was a case from my good friend Mary Nabe over at Stampin' Peace, and she's a US demonstrator in Ohio. She does a lot of these. She does a series on Mondays called Make It Mondays with Mary, and they're quick and simple. And I really liked the layout, so I just used the layout and cased her card. So there's like one of those beautiful patterns. I brought in the Blackberry Bliss. I stamped and colored in Granny Apple Green and used a little bit of the Blackberry Bliss blends. And then I said to a forever kind of friend. I just thought that was so, so cute. And then rhinestones. So let me put these aside. So there's a whole bunch of samples. I'm going to share a sample with you, and then I'm going to make a card with you. So this was another idea that I got from my friend Mary. As I said, she's doing this Make It Monday series, so you could head over to her blog and you would find it, or just search her here on YouTube. I really liked the layout, and I was like, oh, I should make that and try it with this DSP. I also think this would make a great Christmas card. Like just maybe that stitch stock, I'm gonna call it a stitch stocking, the quilted, I don't even know what the name of the DSP is, but I think that would be really beautiful. So we're gonna make this card, but I'm gonna show you in different colors. Now, when you go to Mary's blog, all her measurements for these Make It Mondays are right there. She gives you everything. She shares the card idea with you, and then she creates the card with you, and then she shows other samples. It's a great way to see. So my card base is a 5.5 by 8.5. I scored it at 4 1/4. Now today I actually tried cleaning my bone folders with rubbing alcohol, which they came out pretty good. I'd have to say, not bad, but so yeah. All right, I have a piece of card base layer. This is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So we're just gonna set that to the side. I like to assemble my card on my layers, not on my base, because if I make a mistake, it's easier just to throw peel these off and then to restart all over. I have a piece, there's that beautiful DSP again. And I think it goes like this. So I'm actually gonna switch this up this way. This is 2 3/4 by 4, so we're gonna put that there. I have a piece of DSP that is 1 by 4, and we're going to put this here. Now, the neat thing about these, you can see I don't have a lot of space around, and that's okay. And then I have this beautiful pattern, and this is 3 3/4 by 1. Now this is the top of this, I believe it's the top of this DSP. Let me see if it's the exact same DSP. Yes, so this is more at the bottom, and then this is more at the top. You will see that in the paper, so it's really nice. All right, so I like that. So let's go ahead and adhere down. I'm just gonna move this off to the side. I'm hoping I'm almost out of tape runner. I was saying to my friend this afternoon, I was like, out of tape runner, was running out of dimensionals. Need to place an order. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna secure that one down. I like to line my things up just so I know that I am, and I think, yeah, okay. I like to line it up just to make sure I'm not, like there's not a lot of space. So this is gonna butt right up here to make sure it's not crooked or things like that. So then we're gonna bring in this one here. Oops. Next thing I have to do is clean my glass mat. I meant to do that before, but we got this, I wasn't even sure if I was gonna be able to go live. We had this nasty storm go through. It wasn't like, I was sitting at the kitchen table looking through the flyers, like our weekly grocery flyers. And all of a sudden like I heard some wind, and the trees in my backyard, like neighbors' backyards, were bending, and it was getting dark, and I was like, oh my gosh, we might be hitting the basement. But it really blew over. Like we just got tons of rain, which helped drop the humidity a bit, but my gosh, it's still hot here. It's supposed to be hot again tomorrow, which is okay with me. I'm planning on spending my time in my craft room. I am officially on summer holidays, and I am so excited and looking forward to the downtime. All right, so for this one, I have used the Stitch Circle, so from the Stitch Stylish Shape dies. This is the third die, you can see right there. And then I layered it with, what size is this? I think this is a 2-inch circle punch. And I did that in Pretty Peacock. Before I adhere this down, we're going to stamp. And I am going to use, I did a friend one, so let's do the grateful ones. So if I see the birthday one's not going to fit, but the grateful one will look really nice. So let's use that. Let's grab a block. So I'm gonna put it down on my glass mat just so it can rest for a minute. That helps expand the photo palmer. We're gonna pick it up, and we are going to use Pretty Peacock because that is the colored base. So I thought, let's go with that. This one I chose to do Blackberry Bliss. I love when Stampin' Up uses different color palettes in their DSP because there's some colors I probably, if you were to ask me, I was like, yeah, I haven't really used that in a long time. I wanted to use Coastal Cabana, but I didn't have any Coastal Cabana, so I need to, okay, so we're gonna stamp straight down and straight up. I need to order some cardstock, and Coastal Cabana is one of them. And then I was like, oh, I'll use Blackberry Bliss, and guess what? I ran out of Blackberry Bliss too, so I definitely need to do all those. All right, so let's close this up. So this is our old style ink pads. As we all know, Stampin' Up will be doing a color refresh in a couple months, and then about this time next year will be all new ink pads. All right, so we're going to adhere that down, and then we're going to pop this up onto our card, and then we're going to add in some rhinestones. I thought I would show you some great ways to use your pattern paper, because I don't know about you, but sometimes we get we get all this DSP, and then when we cut, we have all these leftovers that we don't necessarily use ideas. So these layouts like this are great because they use up your scrap, and because it's so quick and easy, you could easily mass produce some of these cards. Like I said, this would make a great Christmas card. So here I am using rhinestones, and I have it in one of our old cases, And look, I don't know if you've been around for a long time. This was actually like, I used to call this a pokey doodle, and it came with like one of our paper piercer mats. But I like to use it to pick up my rhinestones. So let's bring in, so when you're creating with embellishments, you should always make like a triangle. Let's see, makes the eye, brings it to the triangle level. So we're gonna put that there, and then I just keep that in here so then I know, because now I use my like, if you're, I tend to use my Take-A-Pick. So this is your Take-A-Pick tool. This is another top tool in my craft room. But I sometimes when I use my rhinestones, I use those ones. All right, so there is our quick and easy card tonight featuring a layout from my good friend Mary Nabe over at Stampin' Piece with Mary. This was from her Make It Monday series. So if you're here on YouTube, you're going to definitely want to go check her out. She does one of these every Monday, and I love watching them because it's great card ideas and great ways to use your designer series paper. So there is 2 ways of just using the pattern paper in the Valley Bloom, and then we'll bring back in those other ones. Let me see if I can just, maybe I'll just go this way so you guys can see it that way. There's one showing you the Lily of the Valley stamp set. Another great way of showing you just the designer series paper. Great way of showing you pattern paper with a greeting. Showing you how to stamp and color. So like, as I said, I used Memento ink and then colored it with my Stampin' Blends. I used Granny Apple and Pretty Peacock. And then just another way of using your scraps and dies and stamps. So I hope that I have inspired you with the Lily of the Valley stamp bundle and the Valley Bloom Designer Series paper. As I said to you, it was one that I did not have on my radar, but the more I saw samples with it, the more I was like, oh, that's a super cute set. And I think one that could be used for multiple occasions. And I don't know about you, when I look at stamp sets, I'm like, how can I use it in different ways? Because I think that adds value to the product that you are buying, because we all know life is busy, like life is challenging these days, and some of us might just have like certain budgets. So this would be a great stamp set if you're looking for like an all occasional stamp set. So Lily of the Valley is the bundle. The designer series paper is called Valley and Bloom, which they are part of the Valley and Bloom suite, which you can find in our May to August catalog or online. So I will, once this video is done loading and processing, I will put this video on my blog along with the measurements for these cards here. So I've already posted this one. I'll put these 2 cards so you can see, and I'll give you the measurements, and I'll post a couple other ones throughout the week. If you want to know what's happening in my studio, head over to my blog, www.stampwithanne.com. Click on join my newsletter, because you guys are the first one to find out Monday morning what my product of the week. My goal is to continue going live on Wednesday nights. That's when I used to go live before I got sick. So I'm going back to that, and you also get a recap email on Sunday, which gives you the link to the video and samples. I link them back to my blog. That way it's a one-stop email for you, so you're not looking on social media for that. All right, everyone, I would love to hear, I always ask this to my class attendees, which one was your favorite card? It is so funny because the one I think people will like, or the one I like, they pick a totally different one. So I would love to know which card you like. I would love to know if I've inspired you to maybe, like I said, you don't need to purchase this, but if there's something you love, then you can. But maybe I inspired you to get out your pattern papers and cut them up and make some different cards for family and friends. I don't know about you, but I feel like everyone in the world right now needs a little happiness and a little bright in their day. So make a card and send a card. You never know, that card is going to land in somebody's mailbox when they need it the most. And when you send a card, it's like giving a hug in the mail. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me. If you're here in Canada, enjoy the rest of your Canada Day. If you are In the States, I have a great long weekend. And to my global friends, I hope you're having a fabulous week. And I will be back real soon. Bye, everyone. Have a great night.